Welcome to Matt Reviews Books. I am your host, Matt. And if this is your first time here, welcome. This is a book review channel. It is a channel dedicated to older books. Books that may have at one point been bestsellers, but are more likely to be found in used bookstores or estate sales or flea markets or that forgotten about, kicked around dirty old box up in your attic. And so if that sounds like something that you would like to hear more about, go ahead and, hit the big red subscribe button right there. Also, tell me what you're reading because I'm curious. I want to know what you're reading. I'm always want to find out about new books. So with that out of the way, moving right along. This is The Sorceress of Dar Shiva, Book 4 in the Mallorean, which is the second pentology by David Eddings in the world of the Belgarion. I guess to catch up, Garion has he's hot on the trail of Zandramas, who has stolen his son, Garion, and they're headed for the place which is no more. The place which is no more? Place which is no more. It's been a while. It's been an adventure just getting this far. And now we are in Malloreon. We are leaving Ashabine, where there is a whole bunch of shenanigans going on. So they've left Ashabine, and they're heading for Melcena. And the Melcena Empire at one point was as big or bigger than Malloreon, but now boundless Malloreon has sort of pretty much taken them over. But the Melcenes, have gotten their revenge by, well, they became the bureaucracy of Malloreon. But in Melcena, they have they have old libraries, and it's a really old city, so that's the next stop. We're headed for Melcena. In the island, they find this underwater grotto that they have found, apparently, one of the resting places of the Sardion. And the Sardion is the exact opposite of the Orb of Aldur. What the Orb of Aldur is to the Child of Light and the Prophecy of Light, the good guys, the Sardion is to the Child of Dark, Zandramas and Torak, and the Prophecy of Dark, the bad guys. So anyway, they get to the city of Melcena, and there at the library, the University of Melcena, Belgarath finds an unaltered or an unmutilated copy of the Ashabine Oracles. The Ashabine Oracles were prophecies written by none other than Torak. And then at this point, they're like, well, we're done with Melcena. We're moving back into Malloreon. We're going to start heading toward Kell, because that's where the Ashabine Oracles told Belgarath to go, is Kell. In Malloreon, they get captured by Zaketh. Zaketh is unhappy. But somehow, they actually convince Zaketh to join their group. They find the armies again. They find Irvan. Remember Irvan? He was one of the old disciples of Torak, and Zandramas has her army. She has an army too, and they're fighting, and they've got demons, and the demons are fighting. Neha and Morja! They're demon lords. They figure out where the Orb of Aldur is, and they decide they're going to take the Orb of Aldur, and these two demons are like climbing this mountain face to get to the Orb of Aldur, because then they could rule the world. Dernick shows up. Good old Dernick! With his huge sword. Or sword? He doesn't have a sword. He has a huge hammer. It's a giant glowing hammer. And he starts to wail on the demons. And then once Dernick defeats Nahaz, once he destroys him, Aldur, and in just his voice, you hear the voice of God, their God, tell them that Dernick is one of his disciples. And then that's pretty much where we leave it. Is we're moving to Kell. So that brings us to thoughts. This book actually feels like Eddings is wrapping it up. He's wrapping up his whole mythology that he started with Pun of Prophecy way back there. I mean, we still have one more book to go, but this is where we start getting some answers. And Eddings is apparently, and very obviously, trying to address certain, I won't say they're continuity issues, but there's certain internal logic issues that he's addressing. And that really has a sense, that makes the book start to have a sense of finality. There's these things that are, it's just, we're moving toward the end. Speaking of resolution, these dang demons. We finally get the demons out. We kick them out. It's kind of nice because we didn't really see the demons in the first place. I mean, they're out there in their world, but we did not get to experience demonishness. The thing is, it's almost like Eddings was using the demons as a MacGuffin in some ways. The demons were a MacGuffin so he could have some way of making Dernick a disciple of Aldur. Which is great. I love Dernick. Dernick is good old Dernick. Hands down, one of my favorite characters. He's solid. He's just a good guy. But does he get to be called Belgarion now? We might want to wait for that discussion until later. Alright? With that, I will say, I will see you next time.